What the hell is going on with our oceans? What's up, y'all? Welcome to Spirit School. Um, I wanted to make a video podcast of this episode, but my phone just does not have enough space and it's just been a whole thing. So you're just getting the audio version, but I am going to start recording more videos of myself on my podcast episodes. Um, so God willing, I have space, but all that is to say, if you're here and you're listening via YouTube, that's the reason. Now, if you're just listening to the podcast on its own, thank you. Um, the oceans, y'all. There's so much going on right now in the world, right? Aside from the, political events and everything else in between, but our livelihood as well. But also the meteors are coming into this plane with reason, and there's nothing to be afraid of. If y'all follow me on my Instagram, on my TikTok, on Threads and all that, I'm saying again and again that there is nothing to be afraid of. This is helping with the recalibration of the energies here, and also serving as a reminder that we are a floating rock in the middle of space. So we might want to get it together here and start moving in harmony, in unity, in peace, because we all inhabit just this one planet. I think I said this on other episodes, probably have, that they're looking at us, the beings, our cosmic brothers and sisters out there that don't know us that well, are looking at us though. Like, why are they all fighting with each other? They're all on the same planet. Like, huh? They're fighting because they're a different shade or they're from a different region. But listen, that's also say this was all created, as you all know, by the powers that were, creating separation, division, hostility in between all of us so that we wouldn't unite. But that has all changed now in this new frequency that we're in, this high vibrational 5D new earth frequency, part of this great awakening that's been prophesized. And this is all aligned with what's going on in the oceans, because as much as the meteors are reminding us of this, that there is more to life than just what's here, but there's life out there in space. And space is infinite. Now, the ocean floor isn't infinite. However, it does have its own ecosystem. And it does have its own marine kingdom world down there as well. And this is important to note because we need to not neglect the waters, the oceans. It is there not only to replenish us and our lands, but the waters, oceans, are energetically very powerful. Their spiritual abilities, divine abilities, oh my God. It cleanses you. It can retain memory. It can pass messages. I mean, on a scientific level, without the oceans, the whole world would be in chaos. The reason why the ocean is here on Gaia, is to help balance. Without ocean tides, we'd be on top of each other, colliding left and right. So scientifically, it serves a major, major purpose. Now, spiritually, our connection to water is so deep, y'all. Not just to bathe, it's not just to drink, it's not just to swim in. Back during ancient times, specifically during the times of Lemuria and Atlantis, we worked with the waters. We knew of its divine abilities, of its high vibrational abilities to connect to higher dimensions and divine, to connect to sea creatures, to connect to the ethers, to connect to Gaia's energetic field. So, this is to remind everybody that the ocean is there, but it's part of our spiritual ascension here as well. Now I'm seeing in my mind's eye the dolphins that have been washing up ashore. Now, I think you all may have will have been seeing on social media about this Gerald the dolphin story, right? They say they looked it up and it's been debunked that it was false, but I mean, it came out for a reason. This is all to draw attention back to our connection to ocean life, sea life. These dolphins in general are highly intelligent beings, animals. They can communicate with us. They can navigate waters with their sonar. They can read literally the energies of the water. And the military governments have been using them for their expeditions forever now because of this reason. Training them with like Navy SEALs. They're that smart because they are evolved beings, souls, but in animal form within the water. During the Lemurian times, first off, if you don't know what Lemuria is, I'm sure you've heard of Atlantis before. And this is all related because I know I mentioned Lemuria at my TikTok Spirit School, but I'm talking about Lemuria now because we are bringing back that consciousness of Lemuria during that time, integrating it now into present time on Gaia, because Lemuria was literally a continent. You might know it as Mu. It was I have a large map, world map in my place, and it was located in the Pacific Ocean from about, I guess, is it where Indonesia, around like that large area? Something like, oh, hold on. How do I look at this properly? It was low. Wait, how am I looking at this map? Yes. There to almost near the Hawaiian Islands. It was huge. And on this continent, first off, it was very high vibrational. Everyone, I've had incarnations there. Everyone that lived in Lemuria were high vibrational, but also connected to nature, connected to the lands, connected to the water, understood energy, knew the laws of the universe, manifesting on sight. They dealt with frequencies and sound, connected to the cosmos, higher dimensions, worked with crystals. Very, 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 y'all, high frequency continent. And Atlantis, which was an island of sorts, large island, land. It was located near, you know, that area near Portugal, like around there, like around there. But it spanned into the Atlantic Ocean. But they learned a lot of these spiritual knowledge and concepts and, you know, dimensions and frequencies and all of that because of Lemuria. And we'll get into a separate episode about Lemuria and Atlantis and how they actually went to war. Yes, they did. Oh, my ears ringing, y'all. But this is about Lemuria because in Lemuria, there was such a profound, deep reverence and connection with the water and the what you would call the marine life there. So these dolphins during these times, Lemuria, were working in tandem with us. There was so much marine life that was thriving. They would go into the oceans, the dolphins, the whales. Okay? They would go survey the waters and come back to the councils in Lemuria and let them know what's going on out there. If there's anything to look out for, any, you know, energetic changes within the waters, things like that. And so there would be communication between us. At this time, when you say us, I don't want to y'all separate it from the, well, used to be low vibration of humans here. We're talking about highly evolved spiritual beings that dwelled in Lemuria. A lot of star seeds. A lot. All in this one place. But not spiritually unconscious. We incarnated there because if you feel connected to Lemuria, that's what I'm saying we. Because like I said, I've had incarnations there. We incarnated in Lemuria to continue to expand the consciousness, the vibration of Gaia and the lands. This is how Gaia is supposed to be. It's returning to this time. It's returning to this energy again as the density on Gaia lifts. But this was all knowledge that we knew, and I'm saying that because we knew how to wield the energies. We knew how to manipulate it, not in a bad way, in a positive way. There was no separation at all. There was unity from the waters to the lands, to the people, to the sea creatures, to the sea animals. So these whales, I forgot what I was talking about. These whales and dolphins would come back and communicate with the council. I'm seeing like they would be like a barrack. Is that what it's called? A barrack. And it would lift and it would, okay. Take this as you will. But these dolphins and whales would swim into these barracks, and the way that I'm just seeing a very large, it would look like an aquarium to us now, but where they'd come in and we'd be there. The council would be there. Whoever was the leaders of Lemuria during that time, and we would communicate with them to find out what's going on. So there was a mutual respect for one another. This is how I've also learned why, or another reason why I'm so connected to sound as well, because during in Lemuria, sound and frequencies were used to communicate with the waters and the life in the waters. I'm just getting the way, like, I'm getting from what I'm picking up during my lifetime there is the sea animals, right? Whether it be the fish, the whale, the dolphins, seals, other sea creatures, they would send off a certain frequency and literal sound, and the sound would also be emulated back. It's like we were able to return the same sound frequencies and also literal sound that they project and communicate that way. Some were telepathic, so some of the communication was telepathic as well. Other times it was through these sound vibrations. We were able to decode the frequencies they were giving off. It's dope as fuck, yo. So dope. I'm also getting for us, we were using sound to also work with the waters as well. The vibrations from sound, that was an option outside of using just pure energy. Man, it was a beautiful period. It's like what we would do is, like, I'm seeing like mornings. There'd be people there that would play these certain instruments of sorts to bring like high vibrational frequencies, I guess the same thing, high frequencies to the waters. And it would really like be a sort of like, like how they have sound baths, you know what I mean? It would be like a sound bath for the animals in the water, the beings in the water. And they enjoyed that very, very much. Hmm. Oh my God, I'm just seeing such. My heart is being filled with so much love right now. It's just the relationship with humans, or, at incarnations of humans at the time, with the waters and the marine life was just. It was so wonderful. I'm just feeling it, and I'm just seeing like, and like the dolphins would put on little shows and stuff, which is what they do now. So the whales too. Hmm. Everyone was just living peacefully together. So the dolphins would also, they do this now, water births. Some people still do. Whenever my time comes, I might be considering that. We'll see. Um, but the dolphins would assist with the birth, with births. So these pregnant women would, and their partners, husbands, um, which I'm getting also, y'all. It wasn't like there was like a wedding in a church kind of thing. It was just okay. I'm getting it was a spiritual ceremony that bonded two people together, which we would call marriage. But it was all spiritually done. Frequencies and divine beings and higher dimensional beings as well. Um, but the pregnant women would go to the waters and give birth right in the water, and the dolphins would assist with this. Wow. And even when women were going into the waters that were pregnant, the dolphins would come around. I'm seeing them just circling around them, bringing great energy for the child. Oh my God, I want to cry. Oh, I'm going to cry, you guys. I'm just feeling the love and the joy that these dolphins were giving off. Because every life that was born in the waters there, it was adding to this incredible, amazing life world, that everyone was a part of, because there's so much love for one another. And this is just, again, what's possible with when you are operating at such a high vibration. And during moments of celebration, music would be played. There's a lot of music during Lemuria. And music would be played, and the marine animals would come around towards the shore. It wasn't really a shore like a beach, but they literally can come up to the side. I'm just seeing like some sort of walkway along the water. They can just come up. They'd enjoy the music too as much as the people. There's also a lot of creativity going on. Lots of crystals around. A lot of crystals being used and around in the waters as well. So as much as we were taking care of the people by creating a peaceful community through, these different types of modalities and healing objects, it'd be done the same for marine life in the waters. I'm seeing instruments like, what do you call that? Like, were used, what's it called? A lyre? Lyre? The harp. Some sort of drum of sorts. Drums. I'm seeing just this long, like, it looks like one of those old school bamboo kind of gates, walls, but it was like a flute, but it was really big. That was an instrument. Um, there was a xylophone looking instrument there, very long. There was singing, a lot of singing. Oh, yes, a lot of singing. Singing like light language. Mm. There's a lot of use of sound. It sounded almost angelic. It's beautiful. And the way that it was being sung though is what I'm picking up is the way that it was being sung. Oh, the way that it was being sung though, it hit a certain vibration, hertz, in the form of just that it would in a way that it would just exude such high frequencies. Hmm. They were like masters of frequency and energy. They just knew how to utilize it in every way possible, even right down to sound, right down to how they sung. Hmm. It's like the way they in vocals in singing it would be called, I believe, dynamics. They know how to use dynamics when it came to singing, but to a point where it would always come together and be sung in a way where it's giving off high vibrational frequencies. Hmm. There was no singing of the blues, y'all. I'm not getting that at all. Because if you were feeling unaligned, you would go and get realigned by energy healing, sound healing, go into the waters, meditating, going within. It's like they knew how to snap themselves out of it immediately. Hmm. And if there were anyone within the community that was kind of, going and spiraling in a sense, they'd all come together and, oh, it's sweet. Just uplift them, help to raise their vibration, help to raise their vibrations. And but it was pretty easy. Not like now. Sometimes people get into those really um depression, or they're in a funk and they can't get out of it. It was not like that at all. Like there was just so many options to raise your vibration. You would go sit in nature, very quickly healed in nature. Hmm. But I'm seeing there were like these little pods of sorts too that you can get into that were lined with crystals, certain crystals. A lot of options. It's sad as fuck, yo. And I think about it now, how much, yo, y'all don't, you may understand, but y'all don't understand. Y'all may not understand, excuse me, the levels of spiritual suppression humans have endured here, you guys. The levels, oh my God. And I'm saying this also because I'm thinking about all the fucking water pollution there is. How they've dumbed us down, by putting all types of shit in our drinking water. And what they're just doing to the oceans and ocean life and how it affects the animals out there. Dumping all these fucking chemicals right into the fucking ocean. This whole damn planet is just filled with pollution caused by, purposefully, the powers that were to keep us dumbed down, from our food to our water to how we live, all of it, y'all. It's wild. It's crazy. So I hope you just take a step back and really think about this. This type of information is what has been withheld from us. And it sounds so woo-woo. I get it, y'all. You're like, what? Fucking, whales and dolphins communicating with us in a council and shit like that? Yes, y'all. Yes. Yes. What sounds like it's a fairy tale is actually real, you guys. Straight up. And, it's going to take time for the human mind, whoever, to process this type of information. But what I'm also getting is what's naturally happening is, as all these marine animals are popping up, right? And, I forgot to mention. So I mentioned Hawaii flooding and Lemuria for a reason. Okay, I knew I forgot to mention something. So, like I said, Lemuria is extended to around the Hawaii Islands. That's why the Hawaii as a whole is so fucking sacred and spiritual. It's spiritual grounds. Excuse me. So sacred, y'all. There is a Stargate portal over there, a way for interdimensional beings to travel to Gaia and from where they are, whatever star system they're from. And the powers that were has had, past tense, control of these stargates around the world on Gaia. There's 12 all around the world. Super high frequency vibrations, portals, stargates in these specific areas around the world. I'm just trying to get my thoughts together so I can make sure I'm saying this correctly. So the reason why the flooding is happening over in Hawaii is to cleanse the land. Water is used for cleansing, purification. So these waters are literally washing over what the energy that was when the powers that were had control of them. And because it is connected to Lemuria, the cleansing is that much more powerful and necessary because of its use there back during earlier ancient times. You see how everything's connected, you guys? We're all connected. Everything on Gaia is connected. And we really need to start taking care of this planet and honoring it and being more mindful of how we treat it. There's ways to advance here without destroying it. And that is where we are going to get to. And the GFL knows this as well. This is going to be a whole new freaking planet, y'all, by the time the age of Aquarius is over. That's another 2,000 years. I mean, that's already kind of obvious, right? 2,000 years from now. But I'm talking about, we had two ways to go, y'all. We could have went the right way, which is where we are right now, ascending, making better high vibrational choices for Gaia, all of it. Or we could have went the other direction, continued down this downward spiral, still being spiritually suppressed, still being led like sheep, following what people would call the matrix, thinking we're just literal robots here, slaves for the powers that were, which is what we were. Not anymore, though, because everything's going to change now. Trust me, y'all, it's changing already. And if you're thinking at a more tangible level, the economic system, oh my God, I think I mentioned this already, but the whole distribution system of how money is going to be funneled around the world and how it's viewed and utilized, it's going to be in the favor of the people after all this is said and done. Y'all watch. Going back to the ocean, what's going on in the oceans, these powers, the powers that were new of the magic, healing, connective abilities of water too. They know all this shit, y'all. And our cosmic brothers and sisters, picking up the GFL in particular, because I got a visitation last week from one of the members, high ranking members on the GFL, which is what I've learned. He is high ranking. And he is Ashtar. And he showed me a vision. And at the time, I did not understand what it was. This was before the floods in Hawaii. Now, this is how I know everything's connected now, after the fact. But he appeared to me in my dream state as I was astral traveling. And he showed me the waters in Lemuria. At the time, I didn't know it was Lemuria until I woke up, and now meditating on it, I'm like, that was Lemuria. I got the download. So I'm flying, he's showing me, and I'm flying through a Lemuria, right across the water shell. And his reflection is right in the water, flying along with me. And I'll make a separate episode about him and my connection to the GFL, which I've only had 2 experiences with them. There are some people here who are ambassadors of the GFL, like humans, like spiritually gifted people, you know what I'm saying, like myself, but they work directly with the GFL to pass on messages to humanity and things like that. For me, it's different. And for me, it's more of them making sure I'm good, if that makes any sense, because I do have a mission here as well, spiritual mission. I'll say that for another episode, but so Ashtar is showing me the lands, and it was just, the waters, y'all, were just gorgeous, crystal bright blue. And I remember the sky vividly. It was beautiful blues and purples and pinks, and it just looked like a painting in the sky. And I remember when I was flying over waters. That's what it was, literally flying over it. That the vibration there just felt so good. It was just felt filled with love and positivity. It felt like energy was flowing. You know, I do energy healing, so the best way I could describe it is like when I think of Gaia now, I mean, again, the frequency has changed here, but what it was before, the flow on Gaia was not cohesive. It was not like a straight path of energy, just smooth all the way. It felt very bumpy, lots of up and down roller coaster type and blockages and things like that. Just it didn't flow versus this energy that I was feeling when I was, going through the land, the water specifically. It felt very fluid. And that is the energy that we're going to return to here on Gaia. Hope I'm making sense, y'all. But it was just the energy flow. Everything was connected together without any obstacles, without any walls. And when you have that type of energy flowing around, y'all, what y'all think's going to happen? This is where instant manifestation occurs. What people will call magic. You'll start to see, feel, smell things. This is how it was during Lemuria. And this is where Gaia is returning to. In addition to also utilizing advanced technology at the same time. So, during this time in Lemuria as well, when pertaining to like the whales and the dolphins and the sea animals, our cosmic brothers and sisters were also in the waters during this time too. They're in the waters now, y'all. ETs aren't just like, they don't just have what you would call legs, feet, walk around. Like you see a lot of these images and things like that. Like there are all types of beings, y'all. All types. Some that are aquatic too. Some of them just float around. Some of them are just material. Like, there's all different types, y'all. But the ones that are in the waters here, you have probably seen video footage, a ton of, spacecrafts going into the water, right? You'll see them just dive right in and disappear. Those are real. There are tunnels, water tunnels, underneath the water in the ocean where these ETs, our cosmic brothers and sisters, can travel to. There's facilities down there. They are operating down there. Whether they're looking for resources or, navigating the lands or whatever the hell else they're doing. But there's a whole ecosystem, like I said, world beneath the oceans. All types of different creatures that you don't know about. And if you think that's bullshit, I mean, we've only explored 5% to 10% of the ocean, y'all. There's like 90% of the ocean we have yet to explore because it's that deep. And I'm being caught. Hold on, I'm getting a. So, couple things are coming to mind right now for me to tell y'all. First thing is, use the ocean as an example in comparison to space, meaning because 90% of the ocean has still yet to be discovered, You've seen photos or video of all the weird looking sea creatures, right, that have been discovered. Now, if you go even deeper into the depths of the ocean, what type of creatures do you think are going to be found? There's probably fish down there and all types of things with like lights and eyeballs and legs popping out of the sides of their fins and all this stuff. And I'm saying that because this is formed from the energy and density of where they're being created. Meaning, like, what's the best way I can explain this? I'm trying to find a scientific way to explain this because, okay, so because of what's going on down there, the depths of the ocean, right? The density of the waters and where these creatures are living, right? There's no light down there on top of it, right? For some areas that don't have thriving cities, because there are thriving cities, civilizations down there, aquatic ones. It's just the combination of all of this is naturally going to form another life form. So I'm saying that because it's similar to space, how people don't believe in ETs, but the ocean has its limitations. There's certain depth you'll go to when you'll hit the ground floor, the ocean floor. In space, it is limitless. It's infinite. So as you travel further out into space, the type of beings that are out there, what do you think would be out there as you go further out? I don't know the scientific terms, but the energy out there, it's going to be a lot. I'm feeling a lot of thickness. I say that to say that the type of ETs that are living beyond where we are, light years away, the probability of that is high. I'm talking about for skeptics who don't believe in ETs and all that. Like, so if in the oceans these creatures can be formed, and there's limitations to the depth of the ocean floor, in a place like space that has no limitations and is infinite, what the hell do you think is out there? And that's something I also need to mention. Our cosmic brothers, our sisters and brothers, are all around us right now. And they're seeing the truths be revealed to us slowly but surely. Of course, they can't reveal everything at once. It would just be too much of a shell shock for not so much the awakened ones, but even for some awakened ones, it might be a little too jarring, surprising, and maybe because seeing it physically manifest in front of you, right, is a lot different than watching or reading up about it. So they are taking their time on how they're unveiling everything. Including the moment of full disclosure, which is very near. And this is why I was saying in my TikTok Spirit School video that I'm being called to really get into my cosmic bag. And this is why I feel like they're making the GFL, at least it's connecting with me, because it's time for me to do that as well. So being very, that was a massive download that I received. But all this is to say, y'all, we're learning about the skies, meaning space, but we're also learning about the ocean and what's going on down there. Like, y'all know the stories about these so-called mermaids and shit. Yeah, man. It's real. They're down there. But they don't look like the Disney Ariel types. Okay, I don't know. I'm just gonna tell y'all what's popping up, what I'm seeing. It like the skin is like, their skin's like, smooth but like slimy. This is what I'm getting. They do have fins, but like I, I'm just it's not like a beautiful mermaid. You know what you would see depicted in movies and things like that. They're just I'm getting some of them have like large white eyes that's coming through. But like they're very much in the depths of the ocean though. Very much in the depths of the ocean. There'll be times that I don't know why I'm getting mermaids right now, but there'll be times they'll come to the surface of the water. But for the most part, they are in the depths of the ocean. I'm seeing hair, but not like full sets of, luscious locks. You know what I'm saying? Um, like they don't have like mouths. Like it looks sort of like a slit. That's what I'm seeing in what I'm picking up, and but they're deep in the ocean, y'all. They don't like to be like shown or they don't want to be discovered, but they're around. It's interesting. Okay, now I'm seeing. Okay, did not know I was gonna take this route, but let's do it. I need to wrap this up because I'm hungry. I need to go eat. Where we at now? I'm at like 40 minutes. Okay. Let me do a few more minutes. Um, I'm seeing like a city of sorts underneath the waters. Again, don't think of Disney Ariel, I'm Disney Little Mermaid type shit. It's not like that. I'm not seeing that. I am seeing though actual underground facilities in the ocean when it comes to ETs though. Like they've created something where they can take their spaceship, travel through this water at some speed that it would then take them to. I'm seeing like a metal door, and then the metal door would open, and then they can go and land their craft inside while the water is around them. I'm just telling y'all what I'm seeing. So, so I'm saying like craft can go into the water, and it's like the water is not washing over them. You know how like a car would, let's say a car were to go into a car wash, you know how it's just all over the water. It's all over the car, and you can't see the windshield and all that. If you ever if you're inside a car when you're getting your car washed, and you go through the machine and all that, the process, and you can see when they wash the windshield and you do whatever. It's not like that. Like it's fully visible. It's as if the water is like repelling off of the craft. So their crafts are able to somehow, because again their technology is crazy advanced compared to ours. They're able to have the water repel off the craft. So they're able to see really clearly. And they go to this facility where they're doing their experiments and all those things. Hmm. This is crazy, y'all, because I've never really tried to tap into this before, but this is what I'm seeing. All right, don't know how much more I should see. Um, the government knows about this. Hmm. Okay, may I should not talk about this. um, but I mean, it's all gonna come to the surface sooner or later. But there are just know there are ETs underneath the water as well. There are portals. Not only do they have the little facilities underneath the water, but there's also portals that they use to travel underneath the water as well. It's interesting. But this is all going to be known in due time when our cosmic brothers and sisters make themselves known, and as we all are learning about our true capabilities here and Gaia, who Gaia really is. Um, it's very, I'm just seeing in my mind's eye, like, the sun rising on the horizon, like that. That's how that's what it's feeling like for everyone on Gaia right now. The awakening. It's like as you awaken, it's slowly, you know, the sun is rising slowly above the horizon, and eventually it's going to get to the top of the sky where it just shines. Um, that's what I'm seeing. Like, that is where humanity is going to get to. That is the point where we will be literally shown everything. And then when we can maneuver and continue to progress from there. But first, it has to be done slowly but surely, because you don't want to also scare the masses, because this is all, again, you gotta understand, it's like you waking up. It's like, okay, it's like being blind and then one day you open your eyes and you're able to see. That can be, it's amazing, but that can be a little, like, you could get taken back by that, right? So it's like easing our way into it without causing mass hysteria. But we are definitely headed that way. We are already headed that way. And this is why I mentioned the whole cosmic bag thing, that it's feeling like there is getting real close to them really making themselves known. I'm not talking about just being in the skies. Like, there's going to be something else. I'm feeling there's going to be some sort of event where it's going to be more than just spacecraft in the sky. Like, it's going to be some sort of way, that something that's going to solidify this their existence. Even though, again, we all, if you listen to Spirit School, you probably already know that they do exist. I mean, they do. I'm just letting you know. But something's going to happen where it's going to be solidified, and it's going to be a big moment in humanity when this happens. So be on the lookout for that. But all this to say, y'all, this is all done for, everything's happening for a reason, and including us shifting our attention to the oceans and now understanding that the water isn't just there to be water. Like, it, so many healing properties and just energetic properties to using water. Um, powerful object to use when it comes to spiritual ascension and connecting to the divine and connecting to the higher dimensions, at least. And we're all going to get to a place where we will respect our oceans and the marine life, because they are as connected to us as the skies are and the lands. So, and the animals that are on land, I should say. But on that note, y'all, this is just all part of us learning more about the history here on Gaia, the real history on Gaia. And if you want to use the word magic, okay, let's use magic, even though it's not, because it's reality. But this is all very beautiful to witness, and we are part of a very big, historic, monumental time on Gaia. And as chaotic and fucked up as it might be, whatever your life looks like right now, at least when all is said and done, you can say you've experienced this, because you came down here to experience this and witness this firsthand. This is whatever's happened so far, y'all. This is not even the tip of the iceberg. This moment, I'm getting very strongly, when full disclosure comes out, that, oh my goodness, it's gonna go it's gonna be accelerated in the best possible way. But this is also why I mentioned ancient Egypt, if you follow me on my socials, because we are redoing ancient Egypt right now. And it's all tied into Lemuria and Atlantis, because after Atlantis was, the tsunami wiped it out. And then eventually went under. A lot of the survivors from that traveled to Egypt, and they tried to rebuild their life again. I'll talk about all this in the Lemuria and Atlantis episode when I make one. But so we're getting a redo of ancient Egypt right now. And this is also, if you follow me on socials, when I mentioned the vision I got of ancient Egypt, and I was there during the construction. The blueprints actually were made of the Great Pyramids, which I know now is the Great Pyramids. At the time in this vision, it was just like a plateau. It wasn't built to the top tip. The holographic image that I was seeing when I was in this palace with the pharaoh and people around me and stuff, it also felt there was it was buzzing around me. So where I was as the spiritual advisor of sorts, I don't know if I could have been incarnated as an evolved being. Could have been. I didn't get to see what I looked like. But what I do know is we were looking at the structure through hologram. So it wasn't like through physical sand molding. Although the structure was made of sand in like that type of texture, not that texture, but that color in the holographic image. But let me save this for another episode, because we tapping out almost an hour, and that all ties into that to Lemuria and Atlantis. But anyway, so we are having a redo now, and we're gonna do it right this time, as we all continue to evolve, continue to return to self, return to your authenticity, return to self-love, return to moving with compassion and love for others, moving with integrity, This is what it's about as you continue to evolve as a person. And with that compassion is compassion for Gaia, nature, and of course, ocean life as much as human life or animals here on the ground. So that's just something to keep in mind, y'all. All right. On that note, yeah, just remember the purpose of all of this is, yes, you are learning this as you go along on your spiritual journey, and it is all to really equip you, what I'm sharing, like information like in this episode, to equip you with a better understanding of who and what and where you are and how connected we are here. So we all got to love each other and have maintained some dignity and have a level of respect for all things here. All right, y'all? Okay. I'm going to go get something to eat because I'm starving. So I'll catch you in another episode. Love and light. Peace.